My name is Tracey Vigars, and I grew up in Sudbury. Spent most of my young life there. My son, Andrew, is very academic, very curious and inquisitive, and always needs to know how things work. So there was a time I had, very dry skin, and I didn't like the process of moisturizing and whatever, right? So I stumbled across some scrubs, salt scrubs and sugar scrubs down at Winners, and I really liked the result. But then, like, Winners doesn't always carry, the same thing, and they were out. So I panicked, but I had kept all the jars. And so I started reading the ingredients. I thought, I think I can make this. So I started to play around. My son's very oriented towards science. So he was in grade 1, and his teacher was a former pharmacist who had gone back for a second career, and she was teaching, and she just had a love of science, obviously, and she and Andrew got along tremendously. So he started to talk to her about it, and she was very helpful, and because there was a lot of experimentation in the beginning years. So he just took such a fascination and curiosity to it that we actually started a business together. We did that for about 6 years. He was literally the president of the company, and we registered our company and went through that whole process so he could see how that worked, and it was actually very, great learning for me. We actually went down about 3 years ago and pitched it to Loblaws, who were fascinated with Andrew and his involvement in the business, and they did place an order for 100 stores, as well as Shoppers Drug Mart. We had a PowerPoint, and he would always help make and come up with creative ideas. Let's try this and let's try this, and he was just very engaged. And his interests have now moved on from it, but it was just a great experience to do that with him, and that's why the lesson was for me is I don't think that I always gave a lot of credence to kids' ideas, or I don't think that I thought they knew as much as they do, but I find them very wise. And I think it's because they're so unspoiled, right? They're so unaffected yet by society and the world. So he taught me to really pay attention, to realize that kids can make a tremendous contribution despite whether they're 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 14. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm Tracey Vigars, and I'm proud to support Hands the Family Network and the great work and the very important work that they do in North Bay area. Thank you.